Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Inside the Big Dynasty League, Season 4, Episode 6. With me, as always, is the commish, Clyde, Randall, Waters, and the Statman, Petey Cunningham. And as always, I'm Mike. We're going to start this week off like we start every week off, looking at the matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
Brought to you by Match.com. This week's matchup of the week, or last week's matchup of the week, I should say, was Wayne Enterprises versus the JPP firework incident. And let me tell you, folks, it was a barn burner. Like, if you had a barn, you would have set it on fire because of how crazy this matchup was.
I actually did set mine on fire.
You set your barn on fire?
Yeah,
No, that's not good. Not out of frustration?
Maybe.
I had no idea you had a barn.
Not anymore.
I did.
Set it on,
I had it
set
hidden
it on fuego.
in that backyard.
All right, so, Commish, why don't you break this game down for us? I know you were a part of it. It didn't go your way. It was close, but why don't you break it down?
I wasn't a part of this game at all, but I'll definitely break it down.
Did I say Commish? I meant Statman. Whatever.
All right, Statman, break this game down.
I'll gladly break this game down. Yeah, it was not a good week for Wayne Enterprises. Both quarterbacks that were drafted by Wayne Enterprises had their bye week 5. So this has always been the week. Been looking at, like, just got to have somebody. And I thought, you know what? I bet Tannehill can get me at least a point. I'll bet he can get me at least a point. The rest of my team's good enough. If I get a point for my QB, I'm set. And last I checked, he did not get. I even checked the stat corrections. Like, oh, maybe something happened and he got a point. No. Negative 0.56 for Ryan freaking Tannehill. Yep. Negative 4.2 in sack yardage lost. I believe they had 7 sacks on him.
Tannehill definitely didn't follow the formula, the proven way of winning this league, and that is to put up a 0. He went
above and beyond. Or below and beyond. Worse.
With the negative 0.56.
Negative 0.56.
However, had he scored 0, it still would not have been enough for you to get the win this week.
Yeah.
If he could have scored point something, it probably would have been. I'm not a mathematician, though.
What? He did score.
Point something positive.
If he would have scored point,
I don't do the math.
If he would have scored like 0.25, you would have won.
I'd have won. No, he scored negative 0.56, and I lost. Even though my running backs went off. Also, had Tevin Coleman on my bench with 26.3. That probably would have helped. Instead of DeAndre Washington's 10.2. But JPP Firework gets it in. Got 23 from Andrew Luck. Theo Riddick with 2 early touchdowns in that Lions game. 26 points for him. He's looking like a great pickup along with DeMarco Murray. Keeping up that hot streak with 18.7. Still riding the DeMarco train.
So let's just get down to it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Stat man. How does it feel to be beaten by Math Boy? We had Math Boy fill in for you last week.
Yes.
And here it is.
Maybe he should have been here this week.
The stat man is getting beaten by a boy, a math boy. How does it feel?
It's okay. I mean, my team wasn't near 100%. Still leading the league in points. Still tied for the best record. On pace for the most points in league history for a year. So, things are still looking up. Not completely down. I did lose by less than a point. So, I put up a good week. Just, it wasn't enough. Yep. It's okay. I mean, I believe we do play again.
Oh.
I believe we do play again. So.
Are you calling a different outcome that week?
I'm not saying.
Right now. Say it.
I am saying different outcome. Boom. Next time we play.
Next time he'll lose by more than 2. But let's put a little more salt in the wound.
And then rub it.
You could have scored 169.3 points, but you let the key player, Tevin Coleman, and his corresponding 26.3 points on the bench.
I'm not. Yes. No, stat man. You're the math man. I'm not. I'm not a mathematician. But 26.3 seems like it would have been enough to overcome the less than 1 point you lost by.
I think it probably would have been. Yeah. I think it would have been. Yes, I heard something about earlier in the week. Tevin Coleman has sickle cell trait, so he wasn't even sure if he was going to play. And then they said, he's going to play, but wasn't sure how much. And then he ends up balling out and having his second best game of the year. So every time they showed a highlight of him on NFL Red Zone, it just sunk that dagger in a little bit more. But it's okay. It's okay. I moved on.
All right. Well, maybe
I'm
we
on
should
EBDBB.
Maybe we should move on as well. Anything else to say about this one, Kamish?
That JPB firework incident has put up a good team this year.
They're still second in points.
Still second in points, holding strong in the division, trying to fight for that top spot. And who would have known that this team, which has routinely been like the Cleveland Browns of the league, has come forward and shown that they have some capabilities.
They do.
But there's a lot of season left. We'll see if they can muster a way into the playoffs.
They already have the second most wins in the season in franchise history. We just ended week 5. And actually, the Bourbon Barons are the other team that has also eclipsed that mark.
Speaking of the Bourbon Barons, let's move on to our next matchup here. The Cincinnati Bourbon Barons versus Los Pandas Desnudos. Statman, break it down, my friend.
This one was just
garbage.
This one
There's
was
not much to say.
Just ugly. Bourbon Barons got over half of their points from just 3 players, one of which was the defense. Los Pandas Desnudos scored less than 100 for, I believe, the 3rd time this year, and had 2 0 players.
Yes.
Including, I believe the Seahawks were on bye, weren't they?
They were.
Ouch.
And their kicker was started.
That was a bad week.
It's definitely hard to score points if you're not playing.
I mean, the most potential points for Los Pandas Desnudos was 101. So it's not like your best lineup still would have won.
Right, no.
But I don't know if that should be encouraging or discouraging.
Charles Sims now moved to the IR. What to do? There's nothing to do.
Rough week for Los Pandas Desnudos. And Bourbon Barons moved to 5-2. Like I said, second most wins in the season. Your team just somehow is keep getting the wins.
We just eke it out. We find a way to win.
All that matters in this league is getting the wins. So as long as you get them.
Super pumped. Really excited that I'm doing pretty decent this year. Hope I can keep going. Keep going strong.
First in your division. Got a 1-game lead on the Pimps. See if you can keep it going.
All right. Next up, we got the San Francisco 69ers. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is still a sex joke. Versus Hernandez Pistol Offense. Kamish, what do you got on this one?
Oh, let's see here. This is an impressive matchup. Who would have thought Brian Hoyer would
difference
come
maker
out with 27 points for Chicago? Makes you wonder what they're going to do with Jay Cutler when Jay Cutler is back and available.
I think I love Jay Cutler. I love smoking Jay. But it feels like this dude should never start another game again in the NFL. I mean, Brian Hoyer's been playing really well.
Yeah. Bet you Cleveland regrets letting go of Brian Hoyer.
Cleveland regrets a lot of things.
Anyways, this was a close matchup. Hernandez Pistol Offense put up a good fight, but they fell short by 3.9 points.
Man, that's close. That's a close game, but not close enough to be the closest. That was you guys. Man.
Thanks for the reminder.
Anything to say about this one, Statman?
No, 69ers, their team, was maybe looking a little iffy earlier in the year with the tight end situation, but quietly, 69ers are 5-2, third straight year of 5-2 or better for this franchise. I saw potential in their team, and it looks like they're, reaching their potential. Things are looking good for this team, and they definitely look like one of the favorites for the Punters Y division.
I think it's more like Punters.
Why?
I think that is more accurate.
Next up, we got Mr. Clutch's fake football team versus the EBDBBNB. Statman, break it down.
I heard a lot of chatter that Mr. Clutch's fake football team was really upset that I was the only person that showed any faith in them to win this matchup. Heard it quite a bit on Sunday. So, I know they were pretty proud to get the win here over EBDBBNB, even though Mr. Clutch's fake football team only scored 114. It's not like they had a great week, but scored 114. Who would have thought Andy Dalton would actually score more fantasy points than Aaron Rodgers? Did not see that one coming.
No.
But EBDBBNB, 36 from Roethlisberger. Huge week. Had 3 other players in double digits, but other than that, every single other player was 6 points or less. 7 players were 6 points or less each.
Yeah.
Ouch. Rough week.
Yeah, I just will say Mr. Clutch's fake football team looked really good beginning of the season, but they've just not proven to be a strong team. They got the win this week, but 114 points is not going to get you far in this league. Trust me, I know.
Yeah, they had Willie Snead on bye. They got Justin Forsett on their team, who was just picked up by Detroit, but had Snead on bye. So it's not like they had 3 or 4 guys on bye. They got Eifert, who's still out. So if they can get Eifert back, they can get Snead back. I think they can still make some noise. But our running backs and wide receivers, just a very quiet week. AJ Green only 9. You expect him to be in that around 20.
Yeah. Next up, we got the Get Hoffman versus the FC Acid Kickers. Statman, break this down. Get Hoffman, looks like he showed up pretty good this week.
Get Hoffman coming into this week was 1-5. Talked about this matchup this is either. Get Hoffman's almost in must-win mode for about 3 more weeks. 2-5 right now. They got a tough matchup this week. They go 2-6. Might be over. That might be too much, even though they're playing in the weaker division. But David Johnson with 33, showing what he can do as the number 1 back. Brandon Marshall with 25. Carlos Hyde with 23. Got him in the trade, off-season trade. Quarterback situation, a little iffy for Get Hoffman. Got 12.8 from Flacco. I heard they just got a quarterback, though, so it might alleviate their worries. But FCS kicker scored 129. Would have won quite a few matchups, as we've seen so far, but unfortunately they had to play Get Hoffman, who scored, I believe, the 4th most points in the league this week, or 3rd most points this week. So, yeah, FCS kickers, 20 from Cameron Artis-Payne, substituting in there in Carolina. Had a good week, but just wasn't enough.
Phillip Rivers had a great week for FCS kickers. 33 points.
It really is amazing how Phillip Rivers just puts up a ton of fantasy points, and it's always with dudes that you never heard of them.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Tyrell Williams,
just once I'd like to see Phillip Rivers be on a team that can actually, with a defense, and that can actually win.
It'd be fun.
He got them this week down ready to win, and then they messed up the hold for the field goal. Didn't even get a chance to try to kick it.
Pretty bad.
Last matchup of this week, we got the Scarlet Pimps versus the Unseen Academicals. Kamish, what do you got to say on this one?
This wasn't as much of a game as I expected it to be. The Pimps pulled ahead fairly early and just kept pounding away. Went in by about 20 points over the Unseen Academicals. The Pimps were led in their victory by Greg Olson. Putting up 27 points in that thrilling matchup against Tampa Bay. Let's see.
If only would have went to overtime.
Unsi Academicals, let's see. Rashad Jennings put up nothing. Michael Floyd put up nothing. Then you had a whole squad of players who were under 7 points or under. But big turnout. Tom Brady's back. 35 points for Unseen Academicals. He was also named the AFC Player of the Week. And then you had T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton had, a good T.Y. Hilton game with 33 points. But it still wasn't enough. The Pimps are defending their title from last season fairly well at this point.
That they are.
Pimps are now 4-3. They're 1 game back in the Beers and Beatdowns division. Unseen Academicals, this team didn't have their best week this year, or didn't have their best week this week. But I still think this is a team that, I think they're going to be a tough team to play. It's got Jordan Reed, T.Y. Hilton, John Brown, Michael Floyd had awful weeks with Drew Stanton throwing him the ball. Seems like something's wrong with Carson Palmer. Obviously, he was hurt this week. But Lamar Miller, gotta say, a lot of hype in the offseason. Going to a new situation. They thought he was going to get a lot of carries there. Going to use him a lot. Most points he scored this year is 15.7. I don't think anybody really saw that one coming. I mean, at most rankings that I saw, he was a top 3 running back. And just not getting the production out of him.
All right. Well, let's move on to our awards of the week. We're going to start off this week with the Hershey Milk Dud of the Week. The player that just sticks in your teeth and is just a big dud. And that one this week is going to none other than Ryan Tannehill, owned by our very own Statman, with negative 0.56 points. Tried to pull a Fitzy, but couldn't quite be bad enough. Statman, how do you earn this one? Was this bad throws? Was this no line? Was this getting hit? What was it?
It was bad O-line, just non-accurate passes, and it was just Ryan Tannehill. I mean, this is like the defining Ryan Tannehill game. Like he's thrown to Devontae Parker and Jarvis Landry, who Jarvis Landry I think is a top 15, top 20 receiver, and I think Parker has a ton of potential. And they can't do anything. Can't do anything passing the ball. So I don't know if it's the offensive line. Got Adam Gase down there. I thought with Adam Gase that this offense would finally take off a little bit. I mean, Gase was in Chicago last year. Color actually looked kind of good last year. So yeah. Think about that. That's what Adam Gase can do. I thought he could do that with Tannehill.
You just said color looked kind of good. Sorry.
I mean, he had his best year
It's true.
in a while last year, so a lot of people thought Gase could do the same thing with Tannehill. He just looked awful. Just depressing. But he gone. He gone.
Yeah, how much longer was Miami going to put up with that? Who knows?
I don't know.
I can tell you this, Wayne Enterprises ain't putting up with that crap no more. They dropped him.
I wasn't even going to wait for pick somebody up.
Next up, we got the Ram Pick'em of the Week, brought to you by Ram Trucks, made by Ram, and they are Rammy. And that is who? Kamish?
That goes out to Brian Hoyer, started by the San Francisco 69ers, putting up 27.78 points.
Nicely done, Brian Hoyer. I'm sure Cleveland misses you. Next up, we got the Whoopin' of the Week, brought to you by Dave Lapham. This one goes to Get Huff Me versus FC Acid Kickers. Get Huff Me getting the award. FC Acid Kickers getting the whooping. And they got whooped by how much, Statman? Give me the math.
It was 38 points.
Almost 40.
Almost 40 points. 38 points, which is actually not that bad to get a whooping. I mean, normally this is a lot more points than this.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm trying to spin that as a positive for them, but they still got beaten.
They still got beaten. Next up is the first time we're giving this award out this year. The Dollar Shave Club Close Shave of the Week goes to the matchup that was won by less than 2 points. And this one is going to Math Boy himself, the owner of the JPP firework incident, for his victory over Wayne Enterprises by how many points or partial points? Kamish.
By 0.74 points.
Oh, man, that's close.
Do we know? Do we have a stat? Is that the closest game in BDL history?
That is the 8th closest matchup in BDL history.
That's only the 8th closest?
We've had some really close shaves.
In history, yes. One tie, and then another 6 that were closer than this one. Which really is hard to think about.
Yeah.
We're only in year 4.
Yeah.
Super competitive league we're in. I love it. Next up, we got the Resurrected Team of the Week, brought to you by Lazarus Department Stores. And that one is going out to who, Statman?
This guy, right here, owner of the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons, from receiving the biggest whooping last week to getting the dub this week.
The W.
Cincinnati Bourbon Barons, they ain't going away this year. Team ain't going away.
I hope not. Next up, we got the Poopery Poo Poo Team of the Week. This one goes out to the team that stinks. Just smells like one of those poops you take after a hard night of drinking. And it's just, oh man, the toxins leaving your body. It is just, whoa, did something die in me? I don't even know. And that is what this award goes to. It goes to the person who has that and needs poopery. You drop that in the toilet, it covers up the stank. It's great. This one is going to Los Pandas Desnudo, owned by the Commish, with a mere 96.26 points this week. And unfortunately, this is his 3rd time this year winning the award.
I like the award. A Poopery's good product.
It's a good product made by
Every
good
time I
people.
win it, I get a year's supply.
Made by good, honest people.
How would we say this? If I win this award one more time, which the chances are very likely, we're just going to quit announcing the award, and we're just going to say for the rest of the season, it's my award.
So here's my question, Statman, and I don't know if you have this stat, being the Statman. What is the record for most Poopery Poo-Poo Teams of the Week award winnings in a season?
You know, I don't really know what the record is. I got a feeling that a Field Mouse may be fast, but the All Season Night probably has the record from Season 1 in the Big Dynasty League.
Owned by the dead guy.
Which was formerly
the Ricky Bobby team.
The Ricky Bobby team, which is now the JPP
BP
Firework
Incident, which is getting close shaves and whooping of the week awards. So things can turn around for the
That's
Pandas.
right. There's hope.
The nude Pandas may
There's
get pants
hope.
yet. And last but not least, we got the surprise pickup of the week, brought to you by Proactive. If you don't want surprise breakouts, use Proactive and clean your stupid face. This one's going out to who, Commish?
This one goes out to Cameron Artist Payne, played by FC Acid Kickers, putting up 20.5 points.
All right.
Great week, or great day on Monday Night Football.
It all comes down to Monday night.
It all comes down to Monday night. ESPN. They have football that night.
All right, so that wraps up our weekly awards. This week, I thought we were going to dive into a quick segment to just address some of the stuff that happened this weekend in the league. There was a lot of email banter going around.
A lot of controversy. No tragedy. No tragedy, I should say. But some controversy.
Some what?
Controversy.
I thought you said controversy.
Nope. You're just thinking of chocolate and poop because you're the poo-poo team of the week.
Anyways, so there was a trade brought up this week. Statman, what was that trade?
I believe that trade was Isaiah Crowell and Matt Jones for a 3rd-round pick and Deshaun Jackson.
And what 2 franchises was this between?
Get Hoffman gave up the 2 running backs. FCS Kickers gave up the 3rd-round pick and Deshaun Jackson.
And so there was a lot of uproar and a lot of people wanting to veto this trade. And I'm thinking I might just now start to maybe understand why. Like, for me, if someone could trade rape someone and have an obviously good trade in their favor, it's 100% cool. As far as I'm concerned, trade rape is legal in the BDL. Where I took a little bit of issue with it is they're traded between each other in a week they play each other. So it could seem a little bit more like collusion, trying to throw one person to win because it'll help their record versus the other one. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if that's what people were up about.
Some people would say that would be when someone doesn't start a kicker the week they play somebody and help them be first place in their division.
Yeah, but you're not smart enough to collude with me, and I'm not smart enough to ask for it. We're just dumb, and it just happened because we were camping.
It's true.
I don't know if people were upset about that. That's just something I just now noticed. I voted no just to piss people off because they were already bad. And I knew it was going to pass.
So, and I thought this would be a good time to address proper trade etiquette. Mainly, when it is good to veto or to raise questions regarding a trade.
And when it is not.
Basically, the common standpoint amongst fantasy leagues and the fantasy world is that if a trade's going to happen and both parties are willing to go into it and there are no obvious, outstanding signs of collusion, there is no reason you should veto the trade.
I'm down with that.
Most trades should be allowed to go through, even if they seem awfully lopsided. But as long as you can look at a trade and go, overall, is this trade going to allow the league to maintain its competitive nature? Is both teams active team members in the league? One person's obviously hasn't changed the lineup in 5 weeks and just says, "Oh, here, take my best player," kind of thing. And there's no kind of collusion where, someone says, "Look, if I win, I'll give you $50," kind of thing.
Call back last season.
A trade is
Been there,
generally
done that.
acceptable. There are definitely times where you can question a trade because a trade can look so bad. For instance, giving up these 2 running backs for a mediocre wide receiver and a 3rd-round pick that could turn into nothing.
Throwing shade.
However, this trade went through. Acid kickers, they still lost. Did they lose this week or they won this week?
They lost this
They
week.
lost this week, and let's see.
To the person they traded with.
Yeah, that's right. And get off me, still pulled off the win by a very commanding 38 points. So, I think it's good for us to discuss trades when they happen. I think it's okay for us to question them. However, don't freak out if the trade in your mind is lopsided. Because whoever is the 2 parties doing the trade, it might make perfect sense. Who knows?
And I will say, this league more so than other leagues, it's hard to know for sure if a trade is lopsided because it could be part of a long-term strategy because there's so many keepers and college squad things to manage. I don't know if this trade was necessarily a good trade or a bad trade. I don't really care, but I could see trading away lots of good talent now if you know your season's over 4 picks to build something for the future. So it may look lopsided if you're looking at it from a regular league's perspective who redrafts every year. Well, this guy's just throwing the year to give this money to this guy. But with the long-term thing, I think it's a little bit harder to tell. Personally, I don't think it's necessarily wrong. I do think you get into an area where it's a little bit questionable if you're trading with the person you're playing that week. I think, wait another week. What's one more week? Especially in a Dynasty League where you keep stuff for years.
I guess that goes both ways. What if the trade actually makes both teams very competitive?
Yeah, like I said,
where the game was going to be offsided going into it.
I won't say there's not a time that's not called for. I just say, if you could avoid it, that would be something that I could see people having a problem with. And probably a moral wrong, not really wrong, but just more of a societal standard maybe to maintain.
Another thing I'd like to add is I'm very excited to see that the voting system we've put in place has engaged the owners of this league to take action and notice when trades are happening.
Yeah.
A lot of people voted. This trade actually went through ahead of a deadline because it received the necessary approval votes.
Boom. Voted.
Yeah, I think there are very few circumstances where a trade should be vetoed. So, glad this one got approved. I was honestly shocked when I voted. I didn't even realize it, and I just went on the page for something, and I saw there was... Oh, I don't even think I knew about it until I saw an email from FCS kickers about it. So I went in and approved it, and then I saw there were 3 no votes, and I was shocked that there were any no votes. But then obviously there was a little bit of discussion on why there were some no votes after that. So
I also want to say I was very impressed that the Acid Kickers was going to accuse people of not participating in this league, when I believe this is the first time he's actually emailed or participated in any of the Smack
Besides
Talk.
setting his lineup.
That's what happened so far this season.
And we can say that and not worry about offending him because we know he's not going to watch this.
Maybe he does watch it. If he does watch it, we're not aware. But hopefully we'll get him on the show sometime this season.
he has been a guest once before, so
It's been a while, but we're going to get him back.
I'm trying to get, just a heads up, I mean, if you do watch the show, we are trying to get interviews with everyone, but it's just the quality is so bad if we have to do it remote that we're really trying hard not to do that. So we're going to try to plan out interviews in advance so maybe we can film them ahead of time or get someone into the studio to do it because it's such a better quality. Obviously, with Rocky Mountain High, I don't expect you to fly in to Cincinnati just to do an interview for...
We don't have that kind of budget
yet. For us. I mean, the sponsors won't pay for that quite yet. I'm working on some new deals. Maybe we can get it. But anyway. So we're trying to do that, but that's enough kind of just whatever.
Anyways, I would also love to hear your feedback on the trade talk. So feel free to, throw out some more emails.
Yeah, are we completely wrong with what we consider proper etiquette? Or are we right? Odds are we're probably right. I mean, look at us. We have our own show about fantasy football.
And I'm the commish, so...
Clyde.
My team may suck, but I know how to manage a league.
All right. Well, let's take a look at this week's matchup of the week.
Matchup of the week.
We got Get Off Me.
Get Off Me.
Versus the Cincinnati Bourbon Barons. Statman, break it down.
I like this matchup. I like this. Bourbon Barons 5-2. Get Off Me is 2-5. You might be asking,
why is this the matchup of the week, Petey or Statman?
That's a very valid question to ask when we got a match between 2 5-2 teams. But this one is, in my opinion, the most pivotal matchup of the year so far in the Beards and Beatdowns division. Number 1 team, Bourbon Barons. Get Off Me is 2-5. If they lose this week, as I mentioned earlier, if they lose this week, very, very hard to make the playoffs. I mean, usually in this league, you got to be 9-7. I believe last year I was 9-7 and I missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's possible to be 9-7 and miss the playoffs. So everyone is pivotal. If they lose this week, then that means they pretty much have to go at a minimum 7-1 the rest of the year, which is really hard to do. They still got to play JPP Firework Incident. They still got to play the Pimps. They got to play the Bourbon Barons again, I believe. So to me, this is a must-win for Get Off Me in this matchup. And even though their records might be one way, when you actually look at the data, these teams are actually a little outside in the other way. Get Off Me is number 5 in all play this year. Bourbon Barons are 10th in all play win percentage. That means playing every other team the rest of the year, Get Off Me has the 5th best record. Bourbon Barons have the 10th best record. So I think this is a very intriguing matchup. I like Get Off Me to get the win here. I feel like last week was a must-win and they got it. I think this week is the same thing. He wins this week. He's only 2 games back in the division. Keeps his playoff hopes alive.
All right, Commish, who you taking?
Well, looking at this matchup, I definitely feel like Get Off Me is going to hold the edge. The Bourbon Barons have squeaked by the last couple weeks, I feel like, in some of their wins. And Get Off Me is looking more and more like Buffalo, where they've gone in, cleaned up house a little bit, and like Rex Ryan has got his team on a tear trying to turn the season around. I think this is a pivotal game. I think Get Off Me's got the edge, so I'm going Get Off Me.
I'm taking myself because I always take myself because I believe in myself because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
I like the confidence you have in your team.
Next up, we got Hernandez Pistol Offense versus Mr. Clutch's Fake Football Team.
Ooh, this is going to be a battle.
Wow. Oh man, is this one going to be crazy. Statman, break it down.
This could be a very intriguing matchup. Mr. Clutch's Fake Football Team has Aaron Rodgers and Andy Dalton. Guessing he's going to start Aaron Rodgers this week. Hernandez Pistol Offense has Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, and Jordy Nelson. So basically every pass that Aaron Rodgers throws probably going to go to one of Hernandez's Pistol Offense's guys. So very intriguing matchup from the strategy standpoint there. I feel like Hernandez's Pistol Offense has the better team. They were number 2 in scoring last week. I like Mr. Clutch's Fake Football Team. I think they're going to rebound, but I think Hernandez's Pistol Offense is going to get the win.
All right, Commish.
All right, I think looking at this lineup here, Hernandez Pistol Offense has got some cleanup to do in their defense. But if they can get their defense turned around, this is going to be a very close matchup. Looking at the 3-year history in this rivalry, Hernandez Pistol Offense is only 2-3 all time against Mr. Clutch's Fake Football Team. But I think they're going to pull through this year, tie that head-to-head matchup up 3-3 this season.
All right, I'm going with Hernandez pistol offense as well. Sweep it. Next up, we got the San Francisco 69ers, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, it is a sex joke versus the JPP firework incident, and that is a maiming joke. Joke about someone being maimed brutally by fireworks and possibly ruining their entire life, but overcoming adversity and still performing at a high level. And apparently that's funny to this individual. Kamish, what do you think about this one?
Well, I think this is going to be another great matchup this week. I will say JPP firework incident, again, is coming in as the underdog, as they have been most of the season. Especially when you look at the all-time history between these two teams. The Niners are 3-0 against JPP firework incident.
One of only 8 unbeaten streaks that are still left in the Big Dynasty League.
What stats?
But when you really dive down into it, there's like a 5-point spread between these two teams, with the edge going to the Niners. But when you look at the strong running back core, JPP firework incident, solid performances from the receivers and tight ends, and that Arizona defense, which has consistently been putting up decent points for JPP firework incident, I think they're going to come through on top with possibly another close shave of the week.
All right. Stab it.
This is a good matchup. Both teams 5-2. JPP firework incident second in points. 69ers slow start to the year. They're only 7th. But man, it's hard to go against the previous champ in this league. I know JPP firework incident beat me last week, and there's no hard feelings there. But I just think the 69ers, I think they're starting to get their mojo going. I think things are going in their direction. They got Brian Hoyer quarterback now. I like 69ers behind Hoyer and Antonio Brown to get the win.
I'm going JPP firework incident. I don't think Brian Hoyer, whatever his name is, has enough to make it worthwhile again this week. But we'll see. Next up, we got Wayne Enterprises versus the EBDBBNB. Statman, break it down.
I like Wayne Enterprises in this matchup. EBDBBNB had a little rough year. They're 2-4 right now. I think they're kind of wheeling. Wayne Enterprises gets Drew Brees back, gets Michael Thomas back, gets Kobe Fleener back. I think this team is ready to rebound from the tough loss last weekend and get the win.
All right, Kamish.
I think Wayne Enterprises is the real deal this year. Quite possibly has a chance to just go take this league in a place it's never been in terms of points scored. I'm going Wayne Enterprises.
So leave it. Next up, we got the FC Acid Kickers versus the Scarlet Pimps.
Pimps.
Kamish, who you taking?
Whew. This is going to be a close one this week. I think the Acid Kickers are still hurting with this Des Bryant injury and what's going on there. Really bringing down the receiving core. But I'm going to throw the edge out this one again to the Scarlet Pimps, especially when the Scarlet Pimps are 3-0 all time against the Acid Kickers.
Statman.
Scarlet Pimps have seemed to have FC Acid Kickers number, and I think they do again. I think the Pimps roll here. They go 4-0. I think they still got a little bit of work to do on their team. DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been DeAndre Hopkins this year, his normal year. It's like that whole, Texans offense. Lamar Miller and Hopkins just haven't lived up to the hype. But I think Julio Jones will have a good week. Terrell Pryor have a good week. She got Devonta Freeman, who's balling out. I like the Pimps to roll here.
Sweep it. Last matchup this week is Los Pandas Desnudo versus the Unseen Academicals. And I'm feeling a Panda win today, or this week. Just feel it. I feel like they're going to come back and whoop up on the Unseen Academicals, and I don't know why, and I'm probably wrong. Kamish, who you taking?
Oh, thanks for your vote of confidence. I will say one thing that's looking good for me this week is Unseen Academicals is probably going to start Tom Brady again. And I have half of Tom Brady's receiving core on my team with Edelman and Gronk. I don't have Bennett, but still, I got a good chunk of who Brady's going to be throwing that ball to, which has to help me somewhat offset those points that he's going to be putting up. I am going to be looking iffy in QBs this week. Tampa Bay being on bye. So, Brock Osweiler, here we go. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm just going to go with Unseen Academicals.
All right. Commish not taking himself. Statman,
I think
do
it's
you
the
have more
first
faith in
time.
him?
I think it's the first time in BDL history that Los Panos News hasn't picked themselves to win. We have a first here on Inside the BDL.
It's a very depressing season.
I'm going with Unseen Academicals. I think this team's a little underrated. They're 3-4, so the record doesn't exactly stand out. They've got like 666 points, which is like 7th or 8th. But I think this team has a lot of talent. I think they got Tom Brady back now. I think they're ready to go someplace. Michael Floyd and John Brown can't possibly be any worse than they were last week. I think they combined for like 3 or 4 points. They can't be any worse. I like Unseen Academicals to get back to 500.
All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, I will save my picks, and I hope you get on and do the same. Fantasy pool update. We have Fantasy Pick'em pool. We got Get Off Me
Commanding lead.
up top with 25. Me and Wayne Enterprises tied behind him at 20. But it's still anybody's ball game.
A lot of matchups left.
A lot of matchups left, and maybe Get Off Me gets to $50, but I like to think I'm making a run for it. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, have a good night.
Thanks for watching.
Set your lineups. Don't forget about buys.